So far, the Resistance event within World War II, in my books, has gone pretty well. I think that it's awesome that we get to see some introductions of new DLC weapons. Granted, of course, you might not agree with the method in which they are introduced, but I think that it's a nice little refresher for how things may work in terms of the armory within World War II. Then we also get all kinds of cool stuff in terms of new loot and everything that you can end up earning via orders and contracts and other ways alike. And of course, with the launch of the DLC, specifically on PlayStation 4, I think that again, it's even fresher content that we can add into the rotation here. Personally, I'm loving the new DLC. I am really having a good time because that's somebody that loves to grind out the game. I loved it, except the 9 maps with, I guess, 10 with Winter Carrington being thrown into the regular rotation, though I'm not a big fan of that map. It did get stale. I wanted to see more stuff, and this was a nice little refresher in that sense. But one thing that I'm still really curious about, and that I kind of don't like that I have to bring up again, because I've theorized it and talked about it a couple of times already, but it's really just the idea and the concept of when are Paintjobs, the Flak event, Domination XL, and these other things that have been mentioned for the Resistance event, when are they going to be coming? Because right now we thought that we'd have them already. We thought initially that they'd be here at the very start of the Resistance event. That was a major title update that was going live whenever this kickstarted. Then, after it didn't come, my next initial thought was, well, maybe it'll be thrown in on top of the DLC update that goes live to let players be able to play this on PlayStation 4, but have the patch go live for Xbox One and PC as well. Well, it turns out that we only got a hotfix for that. Today we ended up getting another hotfix, which some people might have thought, you know what, maybe one of this will be coming, but that was only for zombies fixes. So the question still remains, where are these sorts of things? So today I want to take a look at it and I guess reassess the situation. And again, I hate that I have to come back to it in the sense that it might be a bit repetitive in my narrative, but it's just something that I want to re-examine the entire situation as a whole with you guys, give you my thoughts and feedback on this, and examine some of what the community thinks as well. So today we're going to be talking about Paintjobs, the Flak event, and Domination XL. Where are they? When can we see them coming? And what this might mean in the sense for future updates. Now, real quick, if you want an answer in the sense of when can you keep your eyes out for specific updates, well, the real simple answer and potentially cop-out answer is that of every single Tuesday when new content goes live for the Resistance events in terms of that weekly schedule refreshing. So if you really want to take a look at it, keep your eyes open for February 6th, February 13th, February 20th, and then I guess if you really want to take a look at it, February 28th, so that everything is done and finished there, or I guess the 27th, because last time the Winter Siege event didn't complete its full day into the next, it actually just ended on that last day. But still, if you're looking for that Tuesday, then Monday is when you're probably gonna see those refreshes happen. So that's your quick answer that, again, doesn't have any clarity, but if you wanna just think about when you can end up seeing it, those are probably your best bets. But to break down each individual portion of this, the one thing that really is intriguing to me right now that I think might have some actual evidence behind it, which I never really thought about in this sense, and maybe it's thinking way too deeply on it, that being the paint jobs. Now, the paint jobs, we ended up seeing something at the very beginning of launch. That was, once again, with the emblems, it was there from the beginning, but only as marked as coming soon. But all indications seemed like they would be put together in tandem, that the game would update and would have emblems and paint jobs in which we could use those at the same point in time when they got added in. Well, unfortunately, the emblem editor is in there now, but paint jobs are not. And whether or not it shares the same characteristics of that of the emblem editor, where you can end up uploading and downloading different specific camos, I'm curious to see how that'll work, no less, but the fact still stands, it's not in there. But when we take a look at maybe other clues out there, one thing that is a big theory I've been seeing popping up over on Reddit, surprisingly, is just how in-depth they went with it. I kind of chuckle because it seems kind of crazy, but it actually might work, because if you take a look at the message that Condry posted about when paint shops may be coming, his only response was Viva la Resistance, which he's been saying the entire time, but with the bullet points of XOXO. So why it's kind of comical to me is that now people are looking into the XOXO part, to that being some indication for Valentine's Day, which is February 14th, and we do have a refresh on February 13th, the day before. So is it possible that this is when this ends up coming? Well, I guess your guess is as good as mine, but it would be kind of funny to see that this was that final piece to the hint that we all overlooked beforehand. And that said, like we come back to once again that air quote cop-out of an answer is it refreshes with one of the weekly refreshes for the Resistance events as is, rolling out this incremental update for World War II in the sense that we end up having some of this stuff given to us, but not all at once and immediately. admittedly, whenever events go live from a YouTuber perspective, there's so much stuff to cover that it kind of gets overwhelming, and I'm assuming that to a degree it ends up being the same way for a player as well. But if you have these things incrementally rolled out, well, I guess it kind of makes it a little bit easier to manage all of that, not only on somebody that's pushing it out on Sledgehammer's end, but also for us, the players. But that said, maybe that day, maybe not. As for the Flak event, well, this is one that I am once again incredibly excited for, and I've been waiting for since launch, because we knew about this from the beta game files. We knew about it going in. We saw the trailer for the headquarters before launch even happened. That showcased the Flak event a little bit, but it was supposed to be there from the very beginning. Now, whether or not you guys remember all the way back to launch or not, if you guys put it out of your mind, you just completely wiped it from your memory because it was such a bad experience for some people. If you guys remember, the connection issues in the solo HQ was something that really was a big problem for this, and so therefore you could not push this Flak event out at the launch of the game whenever all these other bugs and issues were happening. If somebody, say, put out more content while these massive bugs were still persisting and getting worse, the community feedback would be awful. And actually, for the first time, we saw the delay of adding COD points into the game. That was something that was even pushed back because all these issues persisted so much. But with it being something that was supposed to be in launch, a lot of people really want to see it, and once again, Condry ended up putting something over on Reddit saying to grease up the Flak guns with bold print of just saying as a part of that message as well, to which a lot of people once again thought it would be coming at this point in time, this most recent update, which as we know now, it was not. But again, maybe it falls in line with some of these weekly refreshes. And again, coming back to that might be the most logical approach here to this, in which it is something that happens maybe, say, every week we get a new refresh. And touching on that real quickly before jumping into Domination XL, the reason we wouldn't have it happen this past week is because of the implementation of DLC for PlayStation 4. Granted, Xbox One and PC players don't get their hands on that just yet, but in the grand sense of thinking about rolling out content for the entirety of the Resistance event, this would make sense in that case, in that scenario, because you'd have something rolling out this week, but not another week if you fill up the calendar. Because kind of wrapping up prematurely and jumping then into the other area of discussion, 5 events in the sense of we get the Resistance event 1 week, we get the DLC 1 week, we get Paintjobs 1 week, the Flak event another, and then Domination XL another week. Well, that adds up to being 5 weeks on the 5-week event. Now, that said, leading into Domination XL, kind of already spilling the beans on what I think with this, Domination XL is another one that was mentioned as a part of all sorts of goodies that was going to be implemented within the Resistance event before the event even went live. That was part of like a big showcase and post on what players could expect within the event itself, so that's something that we knew would be coming during the event. We just didn't have any ETA. Once again, people thought that it would be coming at the launch. Some people thought that after it didn't come at launch, we'd get it with this past update, but again, my thoughts now kind of come back to that sense of weekly updates, where we will be seeing something given out of all of these. And in the sense of Domination XL in particular, I'm not expecting this one to be something that is only there for, say, a week's time, because if it does come out at any point in time during the Resistance event in the sense of these weekly refreshes, well, we already know that we have featured playlists in the sense of Domination 24/7 coming next week, Gun Game with Triple Feed XP the 4th week, and then we have Prop Hunt and Bomb Mosh Pit, which is Demolition and S&D for featured playlists on the 5th week. So if it comes at any point in time during those, well, it's not going to be its own featured playlist here, but it'd be thrown in the regular rotation of playlists. So you'd probably have Domination XL and then Domination underneath it, to the sense where you can pick and choose whether you want 50 points per kill or if you want 100 points per kill. And that, to me, more so makes it seem like a standard mode that will be staying for quite some time compared to just, say, a weekly standard playlist in that featured set. So while we do still have a lot of stuff on the table for what Resistance will offer us in terms of content, it might be a little bit of time before we see all of it roll out, at least in my thoughts, reassessing the entire situation. I know that I said previously that I thought it would be this most recent update for the DLC, and then before that I said that it was going to be something in terms of launching with the Resistance event being part of that massive title update. And I'll be the first to tell you I was wrong on that one, and I'm okay with it because that leads us to a new avenue of discussion, which is hopefully what this serves the purpose of doing, and talking about it and opening up your thoughts and opinions here to it. So that said, I'm looking forward to seeing what else will come here out of this and what we can end up seeing. I think honestly, if we end up seeing something come on the 6th 6th, this coming Tuesday, for the Week 3 refresh, that might be a good indication as to either weekly rollouts or if we see it all dropped at one specific point in time coming up in the future. But all three of these things have been acknowledged and detailed as being a part of the Resistance event. So at the very least, once again, I think that it'll be either the 6th, 13th, or 20th, or one on each of those, or once again, at the very least, we end up getting it at some point in time during this event. Maybe it's the very last day, maybe it is tomorrow, who knows? But that said, it is something that is going to be coming during the event, but I wanted to give you my updated thoughts on this here, reassessing the situation and talking about it more so in a sense that we now know a little bit more of how the calendar is working and not just going in with initial guesses. Of course, it is still educated guesses, but your thoughts are as good as mine here, so I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. Make sure you drop your thoughts if you guys agree or disagree with any of my theories here on this. Feel free to let me know and why maybe perhaps you may feel that way. And of course, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below. We can all hope that these come as soon as possible, but love to get your take on it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding Call of Duty World War II. News, tips, best class setups, tricks, information, updates, all that good stuff. We got you covered here up on the channel. So if any of it interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter, so if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. But all that said, now I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. Mine is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.